Creating a portfolio of projects is a very important thing if you're planning to jump into the software engineering field, especially if you don't have any experience. So if you're trying to get tips on good project ideas or you just want some general motivation, I'm going to be going over the 5 projects that I created to my portfolio that eventually helped me land a software engineering job. My projects were nothing special, but I made it a goal that every project that I started, I made sure to finish, as well as I would ensure that I always learned something new. And also, you need to make sure that you work on a project that you're genuinely interested in, because if you're not interested in the project and you're kind of just working on it because maybe your friend told you to do it, or maybe that tech stack is what's popular right now, you're not going to be motivated to continue to work on it. So those are kind of 3 tips I would say if you're needing to find motivation for starting a personal project. So without further ado, let's jump into the 5 projects that I created for my portfolio. So the first project that I worked on that was not school related was an Android app called Horde Clicker. And this was a game which fell under the category of an incremental or idle game, where the entire premise is you will click a button and you will continuously do this to pretty much spread a zombie infection. So the whole idea behind incremental or idle games is you perform a very simple action. And this can be as simple as just clicking a button repetitively. And you do this enough times until the game can actually play itself. And so you can just sit back and watch. The reason why I decided to make a game like this was because I used to play a game called Cookie Clicker, which it pretty much had the same idea as what I just explained with the zombies, but instead of expanding the zombie apocalypse, you are making a bunch of cookies. And also, it's important to mention, I decided to make this game in just the vanilla Android framework. Usually when people think of making games, they think that you need to use Unity, but at the time, I really didn't know anything about Unity, and also I just wanted to learn Android development because that's what initially got me into programming. So on this initial screen, you can see that we have the Horde Clicker logo, we have a start, credits, and reset. So all of these graphics I kind of found online and in combination made myself. So if we go to the start, we can see that it's just a lot of gore since it's all based around zombies. And so the number that you see, 153,000, that's how many zombies I have right now. And then right below it, we can see that per click is 16. So every time I click this world, it will generate 16 more zombies to that total. And then right below it, we also see there's a per second, which is at 213. So you can see that the number is automatically going up. So I don't have to do anything. Every second, there are 213 more zombies being generated. And so these buttons at the bottom left, we have a little trophy, and this is for various achievements. So there's a lot of them. There's 60, and then there's even secret achievements that you can get. So as you are playing the game, you'll get little notifications that you are getting more achievements. And so the middle button, the hand with the grave, this is where you can have various upgrades. So pretty much you're giving new abilities to your zombies. You can give them extra claws, more bite power, higher jumps, super speeds, stronger smell, acidic spit, pounce. I got that from Left 4 Dead. Exploding limbs, charge, also from Left 4 Dead, bulletproof, you can duplicate the zombies, and then finally you can have your zombies be stealth. And so the higher the ability, you can see that now for stealth, there's 315 million per second. Every time a second passes, you'll add that total, and then it's also adding 25,000 per click. And so you can continue to upgrade your zombies as you gain more zombies, the more you let it just go. And then finally, on the right side, we have the brain, which has various stats. So it tells you how many zombies you've created, how many upgrades you have, how many clicks you've done, and all of that. And so some of the hardest things about implementing this app was, as you can see, there's little blood drops falling down, and then these animations for all of the heads popping out of the world. I really didn't know anything about Android development, and so on top of that, I was doing animations which were very difficult for me. And then one of the last features that I added in this game was this eyeball. So when I click it, this creates a horde, and it makes a little sound. So as that horde is coming in, you have your per second and per click total multiplied by, I don't know, like 5 or 10, a lot. So whenever you click those eyeballs, they'll pop up randomly every 5 minutes or so. You can click it, and then you'll gain a ton more zombies. The second project that I worked on was a Python script that would automatically download songs from YouTube. So this little GUI that you're seeing, you can enter a file name of song names, and then you can provide a title. So I called this Mixtape Maker. And so when you provide the file name of song names and click download, it will get all of the MP4s of those songs and put them on your desktop. So if we were to create a text file on here, we can just call them songs. And let's do Eminem, Lose Yourself. We can also do maybe Eminem, My Mom. How about Metallica? And if we save that and go back to here, so we say songs.txt, and then the title will be, let's do for YouTube. And if we click download, we can see that it found 3 songs, and it's going to query all of the top results for each song and automatically download those songs. And there we go. So it finally finished. So for 3 songs, it took about, I don't know, 30 seconds. And so this folder was generated on my desktop. So if I open that up, you can see that now I have all of the 3 songs that I wanted: Lose Yourself, My Mom, and One. So I probably shouldn't play the songs, so I'll probably get copyrighted. But yeah, these are all MP4s. So I should probably mention that this project was done using YouTube DL. And as you can see, this repo has 62,000 stars, so it's a very popular repository. And it's a command line program that allows you to download videos from YouTube. So really the only thing that my project is doing is it is creating a GUI around this command line program and automating downloading a lot of different songs at once. Because in the normal YouTube DL fashion, you can see that right here, you would call YouTube DL, and then you'd provide the various options, and then you would give the exact URL. But what my project is doing is you give it the actual song name, and you don't have to provide the URL itself. So it becomes very easy to download a bunch of different songs very quickly. The third project that I worked on was another Android app called Stat Tracker for CSGO. So CSGO is a very popular first-person shooter, and I've been into it for a couple years now. And the whole idea is you can type in your Steam ID, Steam ID 64, Steam ID 3, or your custom URL name, and you can look up your profile and see all of your stats for CSGO. So unfortunately, I can't show you the actual app on my phone because I was using the Steam API, and since making the app a couple years ago, the API has changed, which broke my app. So I can only show you screenshots. So this first page is the search page where you can enter your information and perform a search, and then it has various examples to show you what each one means. And then in the second page, we have your past searches. So after you perform a search, whether it be your own profile or your friend's profile, it will actually save it, and then you can go and view their profile again. So in the main dashboard page, we have your profile, and this shows, how many MVPs you got, how many hours you have in the game. So at the time, I had 1,400 hours in the game. And it shows various other information such as win-loss ratios, KD ratio, and all of that. In the second tab, it shows you all of your weapon stats, so you can scroll through every single weapon and view the number of kills you got, hits, accuracy, all of that, and you can search by specific weapon names. In the third tab, you can see your map stats, so you have your wins, your losses, and your win percentage for every map, and just like for weapon stats, you can search by specific map names. In the fourth tab, you can view your last match stats, so you can see if you won or lost your previous game, and also what your favorite weapon is. And then finally, in the last tab, you can view all of your achievements for CSGO, and you can see which ones you've achieved and not achieved. And actually, when you clicked on these individual achievements, it would actually flip and it would show you the description of the achievement. So as you can see, all of these pages had a very similar UI to them. I had this gray and red color scheme, which obviously doesn't look very good, but I really just wanted to try to learn something new when I was making this project. I learned a lot about API design, how to aggregate a significant amount of data onto a page and ensure that the rendering process was still efficient, as well as how to make asynchronous chained API calls to ensure that I'm not blocking the UI thread. And so all of this information I ended up talking about in my interviews. And since I didn't have really any experience at the time, I mainly just talked about this project and some other ones. And I really credit this project for getting me the job that I still currently have 2 years later. The fourth project that I worked on was a custom built website. I no longer have this site up because it's very outdated, but I was very proud of this because I primarily did backend work, but this was my first time doing HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So as you can see, this site allows you to view my projects, my resume at the time, different code snippets that I have, and then contact information. So if I click projects, it'll take you to various projects that I've done, and it will tell you their description and what I learned from each of them. And if we keep scrolling down, it'll take you to my resume at the time. And so you can view all of my related courses that I've done. And if you hover on each of them, it will tell you the description of the course and then the grade I received. So this was actually kind of challenging for me because at the time I didn't know any JavaScript. And then I also have a little skills section. So that shows you what I'm a beginner, intermediate, proficient, and advanced at. And then just various experience that I have. And then finally, it takes you to a code section. So I provide little code snippets, pretty much very small programs that I had done before. The final project that I added to my portfolio was another Android app called Phone Auto Silencer. And so the idea behind this app was when I was in class and I forgot to turn off my phone, it would, ring in class and disrupt the class, right? Which is kind of embarrassing. And so what I did was I created an app where you could set specific time intervals, whether it be next week, a month from now, 2 months from now, and you can give the app your schedule and it would automatically silence your phone for you in those time intervals. So this app is very simple. It's only 2 pages. And in this first screen, you can see that there's nothing there. It's just this plus button at the bottom right. So if I click that, it takes me to this form where I can create an event. So let's say I create an event called school and I give it a specific time. So I can say that I go to school from maybe 6:30 to maybe 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And then I can give it my specific schedule. So I can say I want this to happen weekly, a single time, bi-weekly, or monthly. So let's say weekly, and I go Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then I can say if I want the ringer to be on silence or if I just want to put it on vibrate. So let's leave it at silence. And if I click add event, we can see that now it pops up a new event for me on this first page. And at any time, I can disable or enable this event. And you can have a total of 2 events in the free version. And then I created a paid version for $1 where you can create more than 2 events. So I can enable this. And when it's enabled, now on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, between 6:30 and 3 p.m., it will automatically silence my phone and I no longer have to remember to do it. What I really liked about this project is that I was able to learn a lot about design patterns, ORMs, and dependency injection. And really my main goal when I started creating all of these different projects is just to try to learn something new with every project that I went into. So that's it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I know it can be really difficult to actually come up with project ideas and then implement them, but I hope that these 5 projects ended up giving you at least some sort of inspiration. If you like these types of videos or tutorial-based videos on interview questions, feel free to subscribe and be notified whenever I post a video, which I post multiple times a week. So that's it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.